A political stunner shakes up the Montana landscape for the second time in just 2 days, just more than 48 hours after Ryan Zinke announced his retirement. Montana Senator Steve Daines is also dropping his re-election campaign. The longtime senator removing his name just minutes before the filing deadline. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian breaks it all down.
Montana's campaign for U.S. Senate was reshaped twice on Wednesday, once in the morning when independent candidate Seth Bodner entered the race, and again in the afternoon when Republican Senator Steve Daines made a sudden announcement that he wouldn't be running again.
Serving the people of Montana in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate the past 13 years has been the greatest honor of my professional career. I'm grateful to God for allowing me to serve. But after much careful thought, I've decided not to seek re-election.
Daines had announced his re-election campaign last month and filed to run again on February 17th. But at 4:57 p.m. on Wednesday, just 3 minutes before the close of the candidate filing period, the Montana Secretary of State's office received his withdrawal.
Together, Cindy and I look forward to the next chapter, like cherishing moments with 7 grandchildren, spending a bit more time in Montana, and continuing to make a difference.
Daines endorsed a new Republican candidate who entered the Senate race at 4:52 p.m., Kurt Alme, who served as U.S. Attorney for Montana during both Trump administrations and was Governor Greg Gianforte's budget director in between. Alme confirmed his candidacy in a statement, saying, quote, "We need proven doers in Washington who will stand up for our values without apology. I'm running for Senate to be a relentless advocate for Montana and to help President Trump put America first." This twist left a completely different political landscape than when Bodner entered the race Wednesday morning. After filing, Bodner sought to distinguish himself from Daines.
I think the primary difference between me and my opponent is that I'm going to go to D.C. with one boss, the people of this state. I'm not going to be beholden to any party interests.
On Wednesday evening, Bodner released a statement saying Daines' move showed a lack of respect for voters. He said, quote, "This is the disgusting arrogance of Washington politicians and their party bosses, who trade power back and forth like candy, while Montanans are crushed under higher costs and fewer opportunities." While Alme has backing from Daines and other Republican heavyweights, he'll still need to go through a primary, as 2 other Republicans filed late on Wednesday. And there are 5 Democrats and 2 Libertarians competing for places on the general election ballot. Montana's primary election will be on June 2nd, and Bodner will also need to submit at least 13,000 signatures from registered voters before then if he wants to get on the ballot in November. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Now, Daines' departure is just the latest in a wave of retirements in the GOP ranks as he becomes the 6th Republican senator to choose to not seek re-election in the fall midterms. And it comes on the heels of that big announcement just 2 days ago from Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke. All of this, of course, a huge surprise even to those who follow Montana politics closely, as we found out earlier this evening.
That announcement coming, at the very last possible moment, it was a bit of a curveball.
That's how University of Montana political analyst Lee Banville describes Wednesday's sudden announcement that Senator Steve Daines won't run for re-election after all.
And so by doing it at that last second, you really do create this, there isn't going to be a primary fight. It's really just, it's Kurt's, and off he goes.
Jeremy Johnson is a political science teacher at Carroll College.
I think this was absolutely strategic, and it was meant to try to limit the number of candidates who would file for the general election.
The big question now is, will it make a difference in the upcoming midterm election, where Daines would have been a heavy favorite?
And honestly, probably in the Senate race now, former UN President Seth Bodner has the highest name recognition, which is not what I would have expected 24 hours ago.
While Kurt Alme may not have the name recognition that Daines has, he does have President Trump's endorsement and an R before his name in Montana.
There's no doubt that President Trump was consulted. It's very important because he's always been a wild card. He endorses someone for a primary that really helps in the Republican primary for a major office.
Well, this race probably would not have gotten a lot of national attention like some of our past Senate races did. Both men say this could very well lead to a more interesting midterm in Montana.
So I do think with a candidate who's not well known at all, it's going to increase the spending and also the outside money that comes from the state. The question is how much, and that depends how competitive the general election looks.
one of the things that'll be interesting to watch is how do the Democrats and the Democratic Party respond to all of this? Because like, do they, go forward with a nomination like they did in the 2nd District of Montana when there was an independent candidate there? Or do they sort of say like, we're going to step back and let this be the Alme versus Bodner race? That's a thing that's way too early to tell, but I think we'll start to see that fairly quickly.
In Billings, Russ Riesiger, MTN News.
And President Trump is among the many reacting to today's announcement out of Montana. The president endorsed Kurt Alme on social media, saying, quote, Steve's term is up and he's decided to leave the Senate and pass the torch to Kurt Alme. The president goes on to say if Kurt didn't have the highest level of aptitude and talent, Steve would have remained exactly where he is, but Kurt is exceptional.